Okay, imagine this. What if one of history's greatest philosophers was about to give up on life, and the only person who could save him was a doctor who had to do it completely in secret? In this explainer, we're diving right into that thought experiment, a fictional story that really gets to the heart of despair and the tough, tough road to psychological freedom.
So this is the big puzzle at the center of Irvin Yalom's novel, When Nietzsche Wept. It basically sets up this high-stakes psychological game where the lines between doctor and patient, between the healer and the healed, they just start to blur in the most amazing ways. And it really makes you wonder, how do you even begin to help someone who has no idea they need help in the first place?
So picture this. We're in Vienna, 1882. It's the intellectual capital of the world. And Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the greatest minds of the era, is in a total freefall of misery. So this unconventional, almost desperate plan gets hatched to try and pull him back from the edge.
Now, to really get what the cure is all about, we first have to understand the crisis. So let's take a closer look at the deep suffering that brought Nietzsche to this breaking point.
This wasn't just some kind of creative moodiness. Nietzsche was facing a complete and utter collapse. The physical pain from his migraines was just debilitating, but it was the psychological stuff that was truly life-threatening. We're talking about a crushing despair and a loneliness so profound that he was seriously considering suicide.
And here's the mission, which is brought to a physician named Joseph Breuer by the mysterious Lou Salome. It comes with this just impossible condition. Nietzsche, a man with immense intellectual pride, can never, ever know he's the patient. So somehow, Breuer has to cure his despair without ever admitting that's what he's doing. But here's where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Because as we meet the doctor who's supposed to pull off the secret cure, we realize pretty quickly that the healer himself is in desperate need of some healing.
So on the surface, you think these two men are worlds apart. But when you look closer, underneath it all, they're like mirrors of each other. Nietzsche's crippling despair, it's matched by Breuer's own hidden turmoil. Nietzsche's huge intellectual pride, matched by Breuer's identity crisis and his own secret, kind of destructive obsessions. The truth is, both of these men are trapped. And this is where everything just flips on its head. The whole act of a secret cure falls apart, and a new, totally honest pact is made. The roles are completely reversed. Breuer, the doctor, will treat Nietzsche's physical ailments, and in return, Nietzsche, the philosopher, will become the doctor for Breuer's soul, guiding him through his own inner chaos.
And this gets to the absolute core of the novel. Healing is never a one-way street. In any real therapeutic relationship, both people are changed. They influence each other, they challenge each other, and ultimately, they transform each other.
Okay, so what comes out of this mutual therapy is just incredible. Their conversations become this kind of roadmap for breaking free from the psychological cages they've both built around themselves.
The first big key is this idea Nietzsche has called self-overcoming. Basically, he argues that pain isn't something to just run away from. It's a tool. It's something you can use. Think of it like a muscle. It only gets stronger when you push it to its limits. Suffering is the friction you need to overcome yourself and actually grow. So how do you actually do this? Well, it leads to this clear three-step path. Number 1, stop blaming everything else, your job, your partner, fate, for your unhappiness. Number 2, take total, radical ownership of your own misery. And number 3, realize that true freedom only begins in that very moment you take full responsibility.
And it doesn't stop there. Their talks dig up all these other essential keys to liberation, like the power of being brutally honest with yourself when you look inward, the courage it takes to actually face that deep-seated loneliness we all feel sometimes. And this is a huge one, the need to let go of the illusions we cling to, those perfect futures we imagine, and just see reality for what it is.
At the end of the day, their entire journey, everything they go through, it all boils down to this one powerful command from Nietzsche. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about stripping away all the illusions, all the fears, all the self-deception, to finally become who you truly are. So, you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool story from 1882, but why does it matter now? Well, the thing is, the psychological cages they were trying to escape are shockingly similar to the ones we build for ourselves today. I mean, just think about the cages we live in. We struggle with constant overthinking, with burnout, with this weird sense of being emotionally isolated, even though we're more connected than ever. We live in this culture that demands a perfect, curated image and pressures us to always look strong. Those are the exact same pressures that had Breuer and Nietzsche so trapped. And that's exactly why Nietzsche's message just hits so hard right now. His call for radical honesty, for facing the messy, uncomfortable truths about ourselves, is the perfect antidote to the insane pressure for perfection we see all over social media and feel in our own lives. You know, if there's one big lesson to take from this story, it's a challenging one. Real, meaningful growth. It just doesn't happen when we're comfortable. It starts the second we're willing to embrace discomfort, to face our anxieties head-on, and to do that really hard internal work it takes to actually change.
Which kind of leaves all of us with a final question to think about. After seeing these two guys confront their deepest deceptions, it's worth asking ourselves, what illusion are you clinging to? What imagined future or past regret or perfect version of yourself are you holding on to? And what do you think would happen if you were finally ready to let it go?